Hey, welcome back to the Disney Plus Everyday Challenge. And today we start a little bit early. It's still daylight out. We got we got those Calloways. This is a 1965 film. It runs about 2 hours and 11 minutes long, and it is, let's say, it's kind of wholesome. I mean, not a lot on Disney isn't from Disney isn't kind of wholesome, um, but it's one of those films that I don't know if it's like it has a intentional beginning and ending, and everything in between is just sort of there. I guess it builds up the you get to know the characters. There's some character development here and there, but it's a 2 hour movie, but it feels like a TV miniseries. And normally today, if something like this would be made, it would probably be a multi episode 6, 8, 13 episode season that deals with the trials and travails of this family in early 1900s. There's cars, so early 1900s uh, New England. The Calloways are a family that they live out in the wilderness. Um, the dad grew up amongst Native American family, tribe, and so he knows their ways. It's just sort of a background on his character. It doesn't really figure into a whole lot, other than the fact that they revere the geese that come north and south, for the seasonally. I go south for the winter anyway. Um, from Canada. They see them, they revere them because they're the totem of the tribe that he grew up with. So it's all about the geese, and it's about trying to protect them. He wants to create a preserve for them so they could feel safe to land and feed and whatever else. Whereas the small town in which they live outside of, a man comes from out of town, and he decides he wants to build up the city, give it some big profit to the people who live there, courtesy of courtesy of game hunting, such as building out duck blinds and geese blinds and things like that, so that they can be a destination for people who want to hunt geese, because they're going to just fly right over there and just start blasting away, and just all the geese you could ever want, just for fun, because it's a thing you do. These days, yeah, there's people still, hunt geese and everything else and shoot geese, but I guess there was not a whole lot else going on. The only thing you had to really do is hunt, so or just shoot things out of the sky. So yeah, you get to know the Calloways pretty well. The son is sort of the point of the story. The main character of the story, hitting the son and the dad. Sorry, my eyes are. The son of the dad, Cam Calloway, is the dad, and what's his face? What's his Bucky? His name is actually Bucky, just like Captain America's sidekick, just like the Winter Soldier. His son Bucky is growing into his own. He gets in a fight with Tom Skerritt. You know who Tom Skerritt is? He's the actor. He gets in a fight with a character played by Tom Skerritt, but he's his rival in town. For some reason, they just see geese in the sky. Tom Skerritt and his buddy just aim their guns at the sky and just start blasting away in the middle of town, because that's what you can do back then. And he's like, "No, don't shoot them!" And they get in a fight, and he gets his butt kicked. Bucky does. So that comes back around later, but we won't discuss that. It's the kind of thing that we learned that Cam, Bucky, their mom, Bucky's mom. There's just three of them in the family. They have a dog and they have a bear named Keg, I think. And the bear, at the very beginning of the movie, you just see this bear rummaging around in the trash, and mom is ready to start swatting at it. It's a real friggin' bear. It's not a guy in a costume. She just starts swatting at it but it turns out later that she can do that because the bear lives with them in their basement, hibernates in their basement for the winter. I don't know. So yeah, we get that. They hunt and forage, and they do their own things, where everybody else is much more civilized in town. At one point, um, Dad breaks his leg, and Bucky needs to go out on his own with the dog, and they get in a fight with a Wolverine, like a real Wolverine. I don't. There's like scenes with a Wolverine and the dog fighting, unless it's another smaller dog in a Wolverine costume. I don't think you could ever do that these days. The whole no animals were harmed in the making of this film. I don't see how could have happened. Um, a tame Wolverine? I don't know. The dog, also they throw him in a river basically, and he's just soaking wet, and he's struggling to get to the ice. Yes, there were probably people there on the edge of this shot, waiting to rescue him, make sure he doesn't drown or anything. But they could have gone through a couple dogs for all I know. It seemed like they were just putting that dog in danger a lot. Um, but yeah, it looked like a real Wolverine was fighting this dog at one point again, and the boy, and fighting the boy. He's like 17, 18, whatever, but still, it's just weird that Disney, so many Disney films I've seen, even from the Swiss Family Robinson and everything else. There's so many animal fights in these things. Dogs fighting other dangerous animals, like a bear or a tiger at one point in Swiss Family Robinson. How does that happen? And nobody dies. No animal dies. It's kind of freaky. Yes, maybe they're trained, but holy cow, that still seems like, now don't fight, but don't hurt each other. I don't know how you give that command. But anyway, there's a number of people you might recognize from this film. Ed Wynn, one of the voices in Alice in Wonderland. He was also in Babes in Toyland. He's also an iconic vaudeville actor. We talked about him before, if you've been watching all my episodes, but you probably haven't. But anyway, either way, Ed Wynn plays a hard of hearing guy, an older guy in the town. He's comedic. He's funny, and but you also get Bucky's love interest, Linda Evans, which you might know from Dynasty. This is a very young role. She plays a 17-year-old girl, lovely, and she is. It's strange to see Linda Evans in such a wholesome, sweet girl role as compared to the woman she was in Dynasty. Way back when. Oh, and one other person. Let me see if I can find him here. Why can't I remember who he was? Oh, yeah, I said Tom Skerritt earlier. Yeah, Tom Skerritt. Picket Fences, I think. Yeah, a bunch of other things. But yeah, look him up if you don't know who he is. Come on, he's a legend. But yeah, for me, this movie was really slow, and it seemed 8 times longer than it really was. There's some neat stuff in it. There's, just the wilderness. Although there's really weird, a lot of the shots where you show the actual actors walking through the wilderness, and the trees are out hunting, and they're getting pelts and things, and trapping and things like that. And you see them walking in the woods and everything else, but when they do acting shots, it's them against either kind of green screen, or not really. They didn't have really green screens back then, but they had a screen in the back with the woods projected on it, and it looks fake. It just really, really super looks fake. But that's only for when they needed it to do like conversation, like, "Hey, son, well, hunting and stuff, blah blah blah. Yeah, Dad, blah blah blah." It's just like, I don't know why they had to cut. Well, I do know. I can assume that because it would be hard to get an entire crew out into the woods, and it didn't have the kind of technology necessarily in 1965 that would allow for the boom mics and everything else to be able to shoot acting properly without all the noise that goes on even out in the wilderness. Just can't have it. A babbling brook will just make a lot of noise technically and just totally drown out the sound, even though they could have done ADR and just recorded the dialogue later. But I don't know. It's just how they made the movie. So yeah, that's one of the jarring things that takes you out of the film, is you see them talking on a sound set, on a sound stage with a weird background behind them, and then you see them walking through that same shot out in the wilderness. So it's kind of strange. But hey, that's the way they made movies, and that's the magic of movies. Hoo-hoo. Cuckoo-cuckoo. Well, yeah, this is a movie. If you really like this era of film, sure, go for it. Watch it. It might be interesting to you. Maybe bring back some memories if you saw it when you were a kid, saw it a long time ago. But for me, it's not like it's a bad movie. It's just a really long and not very interesting movie. It had nothing in it that really went, oh wow, this is thrilling. It had some funny moments, but again, for the most part, it really didn't do anything for me. So, hey, maybe we'll find some tomorrow. Speaking of which, let's pick that number. 103. Make me see. I think we've had this one already. Come on. 103 seems familiar to me. It is. We just picked it the other day. Yeah, that's right. Because just the other day we had this. 103 is Cinderella 2 Dream Come True. So yeah, that's not right. We're going to have to pick another one. All right. It seems to like 103 for some reason. 635. It's up in the 600s again. We don't get a lot in between. This also seems familiar, but let's see. 635 should drop us in the middle of the thes. Thes. Oh, wow. Wow. We have, we've gotten 634, 636, 637, 631. We're really knocking out the 630s. We also had 640 recently, so that was the Muppets. So we are taking out one of the. We have a whole chunk that's just not been taken out. 635 is the Many Adventures of Winnie the Pooh. It's a movie. So imagine it's the animated movie. So I guess it's a little anthology maybe of a bunch of little Winnie the Pooh adventures. So we'll see. We'll watch it today, tomorrow, whatever it is, and we'll meet back here. See you then. Bye.